About a year ago, I made over this space in my living room, adding an IKEA bookshelf and this window bench to create a built-in look. I had always wanted to add a coat closet, and the matching one had been sold out for a long time. I finally picked it up and can complete this section of my living room in part 2 of this makeover. But today, in part 1, I am creating an accent wall on this large, blank wall, adding in a picture ledge and geometric wainscoting. So let's head out and get some supplies. Building a picture ledge is super simple. You need a 1x2 for the front of the ledge, a 1x4 for the back to screw into the wall, and then I used a 1x5 for the surface, but most picture ledges use a 1x3. Alright, I have my picture ledge laid out. This is a little bit wider than most of them are, the people that I've seen on like Pinterest and social media. I have a 1x5 here for my surface. Most people do like a 1x3. So this is 2 inches wider just because I want to fit more than just picture frames on this ledge. So the next thing we need to do before we can start adding the trim detail geometric feature to the wall is figure out where this is going to go on the wall so I know how high up we're going to take that feature. I'm going to take these boards out to the garage. Using my miter saw, I cut the 8-foot boards down to 6 feet. And I probably should have just saved a few pennies and bought the 6-foot boards, but oh well. To build a ledge, you have the 1x5 or 1x3, whichever size you use for the surface, lay it down flat, and then attach the 1x4 directly behind it and the 1x2 directly in front of it, creating a U shape. While the glue dries on my picture ledge, I need to find where all the studs are in the wall. I want to make sure every screw holding the shelf in place is hitting a stud. And then I need to see where I want the shelf to sit, which I knew I wanted to be about eye level, and that turned out to be around 50 to 51 inches from the floor. I let the glue dry overnight and then using my spade bit, drilled a countersink hole for my screw to sit in. And then the picture ledge can be hung up. I put 2 screws into every stud, and that might be overkill, but I want to make sure this thing isn't going anywhere. Since I countersunk the holes in here, I want to fill it in with some wood filler. It's New Year's Eve and all the local hardware stores are closed today, so I do have this Durham's water putty on hand. I'm not a big fan of it. I think I just haven't really gotten the consistency right because it is a powder and then you mix water into it. So I'm gonna give it another shot. I made it a little more liquidy this time than I have in the past. It's not like super thick and chunky, but let's see if it works out any better. I'm gonna let the wood putty dry overnight and move on to starting the geometric wall design. The wood I'm gonna use for the geometric design is this 11/16 by 1.5 inch by 8 feet MDF board for $3.10 a piece, but I know the price of wood varies depending on where you live. And the reason I chose MDF is because I know these pieces are going to be perfectly straight being engineered wood. You could also use a 1x2 common board to get the same look, but you would definitely need to check each piece and make sure you have the straightest ones possible. Using a scrap piece of wood, I drew the design I wanted on the wall. This way I could step back, make sure I liked it before committing, and erase any areas I didn't quite love. Okay, so what I'm realizing, I'm probably gonna have to remove the baseboard because the trim sticks out pretty significantly farther than the baseboard is. So I think I'm going to remove the baseboards and then we'll put a piece of trim along the bottom. That way it has something to rest up against. And then also on the sides of each wall as well. So I'm going to map that part out. Once I was happy with the design, I can start adding the MDF boards. I started with the baseboard and the edges of the wall, creating a border. And to secure the boards to the wall, I used a combination of liquid nails and brad nails. On the hallway edge, I also used my speed square to make sure I had the edge of the board flat against the corner. I started adding my trim pieces to the wall just so I could make sure I knew what I was doing before I started explaining to you guys what I was doing. So I have this little tool here. It's called a bevel gauge. I'm not really sure. This is the first time I've ever used it. It came with our Craig jig to make pocket holes, but it is basically a level that is square and then this part swivels so you can find the angle that you need. Part right here is just a straight cut. So this is flat and then I need to find the angle where it's going to match up against my shelf up here. What I'm going to do is take the level part, so the blue part, and then I'm going to swivel the gauge part until I have the angle that I need to cut this gauge, and I'm just going to tighten it up. Okay. And then once I have my angle, so this is the angle that I need to be at, then I can level this right against my board. Here's my angle. This is where I need to cut. The nice thing about this saw is there is a laser beam. I don't know that you guys can see that on the screen. I can't really tell. I think you can. But I can see where it's at, and then when I move it, I can see where that angle is for where I need to cut, which is super helpful when I don't know the exact degrees. And then I can just cut my mold. I only ended up needing the bevel gauge for the first few cuts. Once there were some more boards on the wall, it was much easier to just hold the next piece up and draw straight on the board where I needed to make a cut. After all my boards were on the wall, I'm going to caulk all of the seams. This step is not necessary, but it definitely helps give a finished and professional look in my opinion. It's a little more time consuming, but totally worth it. If you guys watch Exo McKenna, she said in a recent video, don't give a perfectionist a caulk gun, and I was dying over that comment because it is so true. If you've been around watching my channel for a while, you know I'm a perfectionist and I will 100% use that caulk to fill in every last little nook for a high-end, seamless look. Let me know in the comments, are you the same way or are you okay without needing to caulk in everything? I also took lightweight spackle. This is actually passion paint. I love this stuff. It dries super quick and filled in all of the cracks where two boards met and then also where the nail gun holes were. I let the spackle dry and then took a sander to it. I actually think this palm sander was a little too aggressive. Sanding by hand would have been just fine. Now we can finally get to the paint. I love this part so much, getting to see the project really start coming together. The color I chose is Evergreen Fog by Sherwin-Williams. It is their color of the year and exactly what I was looking for. I wanted a moody green, but not too dark. I started with the bottom half of the wall because I wasn't sure if I wanted to paint the top yet. After adding 2 coats, I moved on to sanding down the wood putty. This is still not my favorite wood filler, but it did the job. I did have to go back and add a second layer and then sand that as well. For the stain, I'm using Early American, which is the same color I used on the console table my husband and I built over the summer. Check out that video if you haven't seen it, linked above. I'm still not sold on this color, and you'll see why when we get to part 2 of this makeover. I decided to take the green all the way up on the wall and applied 2 coats of paint. And here's a little tip: if you are lazy like me and don't want to clean your brush in between coats, stick it in a bag and put it in the refrigerator to keep the paint from drying out. Just like that, it's done. IRL, it's about 3 weeks later, but hey, let's decorate. I made this macrame hanger for my plant, this beautiful golden pothos I got from Lowe's. They actually have really nice plants right now out, but I didn't share it in the video. Let me know if you're interested in seeing this. I have a few more plant hangers that I want to make for around different areas of my home, so let me know if you're interested in seeing how I made this or making a few other macrame plant hangers, and I can definitely make a video on that. Look at this beautifully etched pot that I found at the thrift store. I think this was at the City Mission in my neighborhood. So beautiful. Like, I just love all of that detail on it. The price tag fell off of it. I think it was either $3.99 or $4.99, so a really great deal. I think it's handmade and hand etched. Like, that's what it looks like. Like, it has some imperfections to it. I just love it. So cute. This is another thrift find, such a big piece, and I just really love the color of it, the texture that it has. It kind of has like a wicker section right here. I think this one was $4.99, about $5, but just like a nice large piece to just sit on the shelf and put some decor in front of it. I love it. This, I think, is the best thrift piece I have ever found. This amazing wicker, like, stool plant stand. Absolutely love it. I couldn't believe it when I found it. It was $20, so a little bit more pricey than what I typically pay for. $19.99. They had just put it out in the store because this was 121 was when they received it, and today is the 23rd. I got it yesterday, the 22nd, so they had just put this out on the floor, and I scooped it up as soon as I saw it. So absolutely love it. I'm gonna put it on the floor here in front of the wall with a cute little plant. I can't get over how good this wall turned out, and I'm so proud of myself for the fact that I did this entirely on my own. If you want to see part 2 of this living room makeover, make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so that you know when it is posted. I'm not sure that I'm gonna get to it to post for next week. It might be the following week. If you're curious to know how I made this beautiful artwork, make sure you check out this video that I posted last week, and I'll see you in the next one.